Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today I am going to plant some tomatoes into the ground. I have a bed here which is free finally. I need to start clearing some other beds so that I can start planting out some other summer veg. I'm going to pull some carrots, which have been a huge disappointment for me this year. So, I mean, what can you do, hey? Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. And I'm not sure what else. Just some other pottering around in the garden whilst the weather is nice, the sun is out. So let's get to it. So the varieties I have are these two, which are called Beams Yellow, which is a cherry tomato, but of course it is yellow rather than red. They are very nice and very sweet. This other variety I have is called Reisa Tomate, my very poor German pronunciation, otherwise known as Lumpy Traveller, because it produces big, quite large tomatoes, but they're in little lumpy sections. It's hard to explain, but they are a very funny looking tomato. And lastly in this bed is some San Marzano, which are like a Roma style tomato, which are very popular for creating passatas, so turning into a pasta sauce. Now tomatoes do have what's called adventitious roots, which means they're able to produce roots along any part of the plant. So what I like to do is to bury the plant all the way up to the first set of true leaves, and that means that everything below the soil will produce roots, which will create a bigger and healthier root system and overall create a healthier tomato plant. Now let's get these in the ground. So I will also need to stake these tomatoes up, as they are an indeterminate variety, which means they will continue to grow up to 1.2, 1.5 meters. So they will need staking, otherwise they'll just flop over once they start producing tomatoes. Where's my label? Got to remember to put the label in. Of course I need to add some mulch now, and I've got a loofah that I've been growing, so I think I'm going to plant that to hopefully grow up the arbor next to the tomatoes. and loofah to go under the arbor here. Now you can eat loofahs when they're young, but the majority of people, I would say, wait till they're fully matured and then they dry them, and then you peel the skin off, and then it's got the loofah bit inside that you can use as a sponge. Never grown them before. I've always wanted to, so fingers crossed they grow well. Mulch around. Now everything just needs a good water. Ooh. And make sure I water in with a good liquid fertilizer. This one specifically for tomatoes. So perfect. Okay, I think it is time to plop some carrots. So harvesting my carrots this season has been very disappointing. You can see they're nice and lush and green on the top, but the carrot themselves have been, let's say, a little underwhelming. Let's pull one out. It's not even a mouthful. Look at that little fat carrot that's sort of branched off. The way that it's branched off like that leads me to believe that I hadn't loosened the soil enough. So it just got to a hard part of the soil, and then the roots just went long ways, and so that's why it's a little fat and nubbly. And the fact that there's two very close together means that I also didn't thin them out enough. The more you know, hey? When we first moved into this house, this whole area was all gravel like this. And a couple of years ago, I dug out this section here and planted some plants. And last week, I've dug it out even further because I want to extend the garden bed. Less gravel, more garden bed. But the problem is it's just full of rubble and stones and all sorts of junk. So I've dug down a fair way, and now I've got some garden soil which I'm going to replace what I've dug out, all the gravel and stuff, and then we're going to plant flowers. Lots of summer annuals, zinnias, cosmos, sunflowers, but yeah, it's going to be exciting once I get it done. So hopefully there's enough bags, fingers crossed, we'll see. Okay, well, not quite enough. The other side looks alright, but this side is still, 15 centimeters lower than the ground that it was in before, so I might have to go back and get some more from the nursery tomorrow, which is annoying because I wanted to plant things out here already, but that's alright. Okay, so I've added some more soil to my little new garden bed. I've added some compost as well. It's probably not at my ideal height. I could add some more, but I'm not going to. I just want to get some flowers in. So it'll do for this season, and then I can amend it at the end of summer and add a bit more soil to it just to bring up the height a little bit more. Ace, get out of it. Get. Ace trying to eat all the compost, which is always fun. So here's what is going in. I've got a whole bunch of sunflowers which are desperate to get out of these pots. They're looking a little bit worse for wear, but I hope once I get them in the ground they should be alright. I bought some cosmos, but I grew these zinnias, and I bought a whole bunch of seeds. I'm going to put in some cornflower, which the pollinators love. Some more zinnias sunrise mix, double click cosmos. So they look pretty cool, and then some more sunflowers, because you can never have too many sunflowers. And then I bought some stakes as well, which I'm going to dot around in there just to stop this little one-off camera from trampling through and destroying all my new seedlings. So hopefully that'll deter him from running through there. So I'm just going to dot them around and make sure that I like the placement before I start planting everything. I think I'm happy with that. I'll plant all the seedlings in first, and then I'll dot the seeds around, scatter them around. And I can't wait to see it in the height of summer. There we are, all planted in. Looks a bit weird at the moment with all the stakes. But once the plants are a bit bigger, should look much better. Now it's just a matter of keeping the dog out of here. Well, I think that is going to do it for another day. Thank you for joining me in the garden. If you enjoy hanging out with me, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can hang out with me some more. We'll see you in the next one.